everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Kassiah and this is SiahSwag, and I have a gorgeous bag to show you today. Absolutely love it. I think you're gonna love it too, I hope. It has so many awesome details and techniques in it. I mean, I learned things. I think you'll learn things too. So we are going to sew up the Everyday Crossbody Companion by Kaur threads. Sandeep did a gorgeous job, amazing job designing this bag. Like, I'm very impressed. This was my practice bag. I learned a lot. We do have a video that I posted before this one showing you how to do these gorgeous strap connectors that she has in the pattern. I show you how I painted them and put them all together. So if you're interested in seeing how that is done, check out the tutorial before this one. I won't be showing you the edge coating and stuff in this video. I just thought I would make it separate so people could refer to it if they are curious about how to edge coat connectors and other things related to bags. So, all right, so here is our bag. I quilted the front. This vinyl is for real vinyl from Tulip Bee. It's leather-like, it sews like butter. It's amazing, go check it out. I used foam and Decaville on this front panel out of my seam allowances for this first one. I would not do that again. It was a little too much. It was kind of hard to work with. I would just do foam or Decaville. On the one we did in the video, I just did foam and I love it. All right, so it's got this beautiful front piece. It's got these awesome straps, connectors, hidden D-ring connectors here that go from the zipper gusset down to this bottom gusset. It's really cool. We have a back slip pocket, and the way she does it, it's like another hidden D-ring connector type technique where it's hidden into our panel. It just looks amazing when it's all done. I loved this construction. Okay, and then for the front of the bag, this front pocket here, it's really cool. I put my little accordion things in wrong on this first bag. That's fine. That's why we practice. You're gonna have card slots and a slip pocket here. I had to take off the pocket on this side because I put it in upside down when I put it all together. The one we do in the video is correct. This canvas is from Printy Fabrics. It's gorgeous. I love it so much. So that's your front pocket. The front pocket is berthed. Okay, so this section is berthed. This section is bound. So you're gonna do a little bit of both. I love that she doesn't have you bind around the zipper. I do not like that technique. My zipper pulls always get in the way with the binding and it's frustrating. So we don't do that in this bag. Love that. So the main compartment is pretty big and roomy. You have a zipper pocket and a slip pocket in there. And I mean, it is just such a cool bag. So many fun new techniques that you learn with it. I mean, look how cute that is on. This one's mine. I'm keeping this one for myself. Love it. So this next one is the one that we do in the video today. All my vinyl again is Tulip Bee and my inside material. All hardware is me. So this is the one in the video. Again, I quilted that front panel this time with just foam. Love the way that turned out. I did my connectors on that video before this. The webbing is from Emporium Threads. I love this handmade webbing. It just is so gorgeous. I've got that back slip pocket. And then this front panel came out so good on this bag. I'm very happy with it. We have our card slots. I chose to do 6. You have the choice to do anywhere from 4 to 8 card slots in this pattern. I did the 6 on this one. Love that. And then this time I have my coin pocket and a slip pocket on this side. It's such a great front part of the bag. You can slip all your phone and all your, things that you need easily accessible right there in the front. I love that. And then the main compartment here, I did use fold over elastic binding. So I don't think I mentioned that you need binding when we're going over all the pieces, but you do. And then I have a zipper overlay on this side, which isn't part of the pattern. I added that. It's just supposed to be a zipper pocket. but I decided to do an overlay, and then we have our slip pocket on that side. In love with this pattern. Such a great bag. It's a mid-size bag. It's not tiny. It's not large. I feel like it's the perfect, it's my size. I like this size of bag. I don't need a lot of things when I go places. It's great. I don't know if I already mentioned, I don't think this is a beginner-friendly pattern. You definitely need to have some skills under your belt. You need to have maybe a little bit of binding practice and sewing around zippers. I highly recommend a zipper foot. And, but like I always say, go slow, take it one step at a time. You can do it. I promise you. So go check out this pattern. There is a discount code for 10% off just for 10 days. It'll be down in the description. It is ECCSIAH. So ECC Siah, all in caps with the number 10 at the end. And it is 10% off the pattern. So go grab yourself a copy of the pattern, watch the video, put one of these together, tag me on socials. I love to see what you guys make. I really do. I also want to give a shout out to a 20-month thread head over on Patreon, Dina Willis. Thank you so much for your love and support, Dina. I really appreciate it. I appreciate you. We have so much fun over on Patreon. Go check it out if you haven't. And I think that is it. I will link everything I used on these bags down in the description, my tools. I'll try and remember to put everything down there. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. It really helps me out. And let me know what you guys think. Let's go sew this bag. Okay. Okay, let's go over our pieces for this everyday crossbody companion. I have them all sitting here. The only thing I don't have sitting right here are my connector, strap connector pieces. Those are over in my paint area. I'm videoing me edge coating these as well. So look for that video. You should have 4 of these pieces cut out if you are doing the strap connectors like she has in the tutorial. So 4 vinyl pieces, and 2 of them should have some Decaville light down the center. All right. So let's go into my pieces that I need for this bag. I am doing Decaville light and foam for my interfacing. I am using vinyl and some Smoothie Smooth, which is a bonded poly for all of my lining pieces. So my lining pieces, I only have a couple strips of Decaville light on my card slots. Other than that, no interfacing. I don't feel like it needs it. If you are using lighter weight material like quilting cotton and thin stuff, you definitely want to use her interfacing suggestions that she has in the pattern. So pay attention to that. I am going to quilt the front of my panel, which is why I did the foam instead of the Decaville on this front panel piece. My first bag, I did Decaville and foam. It was too much. So do whatever you like. I like to quilt with foam behind it. It also gives it good shape. And so I don't feel like the Decaville light and the foam are needed. So this is my front panel piece. I'm going to do the cute quilting design that she has in the pattern. I will be doing that on here with black thread. I think it's going to look really nice. My foam is out of my seams. Make sure that you're cutting all of your interfacings out of your seams. She makes this pattern very nice for all of the seams being lightweight and not thick, which is amazing. So that's my front panel. My back panel. So for this back panel, the way she has the slip pocket, you are going to be doing these cuts on your piece, kind of like a hidden D-ring connector, but for a slip pocket. It's really cool. So you want to make sure that you cut that away from your Decaville light and you mark it with a pen that does not erase so you can see your cut lines. All right, so that's my back panel piece. My slip pocket, my back slip pocket piece, I have 1 vinyl and 1 lining here. Okay. All of my lining main body pieces, I have 3 that are, sorry, just a second. I have 3 that are whole like this, okay? Lining panels. And then I have 1 lining panel that has a center cutout. This is for your card slots. It's kind of cool how she does it. If you don't want to do card slots and you just want a regular pocket, then you don't have to cut out the center piece on your 4th lining piece. So pay attention to that. My gusset pieces. This is the base gusset. All right, so the base gusset, again, I've got lining exterior, and these are going to have D-ring cutouts, hidden D-ring cutouts on them as well. It is Decaville Light. I have it cut out. All of this is on the pattern pieces. Very easy to navigate. I also did a cutout video as well if you want to see how I did it. But we will be cutting on those lines to do our hidden D-ring connector. It's really cool how she does it. Highly recommend it. All right. I have my D-ring connectors. I have 2 of those. They have Decaville Light down the center. I've got my middle line marked and taped, ready to go. I have 2 exterior pieces for that. I've got my zip gusset is what she calls it, piece F. I have 2 exteriors and 2 linings for that. I did do Decaville Light out of my seam allowances for that top zip gusset. You definitely want to do that. Okay. All right, so on to lining pieces. I've got my 2 accordion side pieces, piece T, 2 of those. Okay, and she has the option for 4, 6, or 8 card slots. I am doing the option for 6 card slots on this bag this time. So I kind of went ahead and prepped my card slots here. I have 2 of these. So piece R, depending on how many card slots you want in your bag, will determine how many you're cutting out. So since I want 6, I cut out 2. If you want 8, you cut out 3. If you want just 4, you cut out 1. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. I've got my markings and I've got this folded, and this is the piece that I put the Decaville Light on. Okay, the placement is in the pattern. I have my Decaville Light on there. It just makes for a more sturdy card slot. All right, so I've got 2 of those since I'm doing 6 total. Okay, and then the other piece you need is card slot panel B, which is this piece. I have it folded and ready to go as well. It has another piece of Decaville Light right there. This is the bottom part of the card slot. Don't forget this. I forgot this on my first bag. And so I only ended up with 2 card slots. I understand what I did wrong now. It was late at night. I wasn't understanding it. I get it now. So this is the bottom part of your card slot. So 1 of those. All right, my card slot base piece, I have 1. Another exterior piece that you need is this zip tab, piece D. It is going to go on the bottom exterior side of that front pocket piece. It's part of your like zipper gusset piece for that front panel. So you need an exterior and a lining. I have 2 vinyl slip pocket, what does she call these? Slip pocket trims? Yes. You have trim 1 and 2. I've got 2 of those. I am doing a zipper overlay for my inside zipper pocket. Instead of just the zipper facing in a regular pocket, I'm going to do a zipper overlay. So I cut out an 8-inch total zipper overlay out of my vinyl. Super easy to do. Highly recommend it. And then this is going to be my coin pocket lining. I'm doing just a little bit different measurements on this piece. I'm going to do it as 1 full piece instead of 2. Easy adjustment, and I'm not going to do the zipper facing with it. I'm just doing a normal pocket into my lining with this piece. All right, lots of slip pocket and lining pieces. We have slip pocket 1, which is piece K. Slip pocket, or piece P, cash slip pocket here. I've got my interior pocket lining. So this one's going to go with the zipper overlay, and I have 2 of those. Last but not least, I have slip pocket 2, piece L. Okay. those are all the pieces that you need to cut out. The first time you cut out this bag, it might be a little bit confusing. After you get it done, the second time goes super fast. I was able to cut this out really fast the second time. All right, for my webbing, I am using my handmade gorgeous embossed webbing. This is from Emporium Threads. She has the most gorgeous handmade webbing. Love that. And then for my hardware, I need 2 3/4 inch swivel clips. I need 1 1.5 slide adjuster. I need 1 1.5 rectangle ring. I did it a little bit wrong on my first bag. I thought I was supposed to do 2 rectangle rings like this. Totally works. Can do it that way too. But she only has you using 1. I just wasn't paying attention. I have one little strap end. It goes right here on your strap. Okay, covers that raw edge. One of those. I have my nameplate. Other hardware, you need 2 3/4 D-rings. You need 1 magnetic snap. I'm using a 14 millimeter, so a smaller one. I just didn't want a big old snap on the back of my bag. And I liked how that one turned out. My first one, I have a bag of rivets for all the riveting we're doing. And then I have 6 zipper pulls because I'm doing double zipper pulls on the outside of the bag. So that's 4 right there. And then you have 2 more pockets on the inside. So 6 total zipper pulls if you're going to do it that way. I think that's it. Those are all of our pieces. And we are going to start sewing up this gorgeous bag. Let's get into it. All right, so we're going to mark our quilting lines on this piece. So the first thing you need is your center line. So I have my center cuts here. Now, again, you don't have to quilt it like she has in the pattern. If you want to do your own quilting design, go for it. It looks really nice though, the quilting design that she has. So I'm going to mark my center right here. And what I'm using is a silver marking pen. It's normally used for leather, but works on vinyl. You just have to be sure that you take this off when you're done with either a spray bottle and a rag or a wipe, okay? All right, so there's my center line. She does it at a 45-degree angle. I'm not quite sure how she has it line up on the 2.5 inch line. So what I do is so here's my 45-degree angle right there. I'm gonna take my ruler and put the corner at the center here, at my center mark. Right there. Okay, that's my angle right there. So it should be pretty equal on both sides. So I'm going to start with that one. Right there. Sorry, I want to make sure I can see my markings. All right, so that's my first. It should be pretty even. Now from there, I'm just going to measure out like she has in the pattern. And do my other lines. Now I'm always coming to that center line there, okay? And I'm gonna go up. And then up. I know a couple people have done videos on this bag. There's other tutorials probably on how to mark this. So if this doesn't quite make sense to you, go ahead and look up the other tutorials. There's some great ones on this bag. So I'm just taking the ruler from the line that's drawn, measuring out, drawing my lines. So they're nice and even, Steven. Okay, I'm gonna do the whole piece like this. Okay, when you are done, You see that? That's what it looks like. Okay, I'm gonna go take this to my machine and we are gonna quilt this. I'm gonna do it a certain way. There's a couple ways you can do this. So I'll try and explain to you both ways when we get to the machine. All right, so here we go. Okay, so there are two different ways you can do this. You can put your needle down right here in the center. Make sure your tails are long and just go forward to the edge. Don't backstitch. Pull those threads through and tie them all along here. It's a lot of tying. What I did on my first panel was I started kind of here and I came down to that center and made sure I controlled where my needle landed right here and then pivot and come back up. And so I'm not having to pull through any of my threads and tie them. If you are not sure about your needle control coming down here and being able to stop and pivot back up, I would recommend starting here, coming up, tying those threads through. It's up to you. Either way works. So I am going to do it this way where I do it all in one stitch, okay? So here we go. I have my stitching at about a 4.5. That's my sweet spot for quilting on my machine that I like. And here we go. So when I get down here, I'm gonna go just take it a little bit slow. I'm gonna bring it up. Ooh, it's landing right where I need it to be, almost right there. So I just kind of move it and then put my needle down. You wanna put it so it's just coming up. You see how my needle's just coming up? And then I'm going to pivot my piece. If you don't do that, you might have a skip stitch right there. Make sure your needle goes all the way down and is on its way back up before you turn your piece and come down the other way. All right, so that's my first line. I stopped right there, pivoted, and came back up. It worked. It looks good. All right, I'm gonna do that for the rest of the panel. Here we go. All right, there is my panel all quilted. I'm gonna get a wipe and just clean this off really good. I'm going to install my nameplate right here. I like it on the front panel, and then we'll dig into this bag. Okay, so I have all my markings wiped off. I have my nameplate on, so that front piece is good to go. I'm gonna set that aside. We are going to start working on our front pocket zipper piece. So we need to prep our accordion gusset pieces. So we're gonna take these, and measurements are always going to be in the pattern. I'm not gonna give out all the measurements. You need to buy the pattern for that. But you wanna do some lines, some marks in from the edge, and we're going to be folding the raw edges up to meet that line. So I'm on the wrong side of my two accordion pieces here. All right, and since I'm using this bonded poly, this Smoothie Smooth, using an iron doesn't really work. So I'm gonna be using tape for when I'm supposed to press pieces. I'm just going to tape it in place, and it works really nice if you don't tape it to the table. All right, so I'm going to take that edge, I'm going to fold it to my line, give it a good press, just like that, on all 4 sides. All right, so we are going to be folding these wrong sides together, right sides out, meeting up those folded edges there, okay? You can give it a press if you're using cotton. Press that nice, just like that. Do that to both of them. And then we're basically top stitching around the entire piece. All right. So top stitch around the entire piece, folded in half just like that. Right sides out, wrong sides in. There we go. Just like that. Repeat. All right, beautiful. So now you want to fold this together. All right, just like this. Matching up those long sides. My short folded edge is down here at the bottom. And you are going to do a marking on your piece from this top longer edge down. All right, again, measurements in the pattern. So make sure your marking is visible. Same for this piece. Fold it in half. Okay, long sides together here. From the longer top edge down. Okay, that's pretty much our stop of stitching. So now we want to sew a line from the top of this piece, and we're going to stop down here at the bottom. Okay, we're on the bigger edge here, and we're going to stop down here at the bottom, or start there and go up to the top, whichever way is easier. And your seam allowance is really tiny. Do a nice tiny seam allowance. Okay, so I didn't sew down here, just from here up. Repeat with your other piece. All right, I'll probably get a lighter and just melt any of those stray threads there. Beautiful. Now this part on my last bag I did incorrect. So I'm gonna make sure I am doing this part correct this time. We're gonna attach these to that front pocket main zipper. Okay, so I have my main zipper here, all prepped and ready to go. So we're gonna attach these to this. Okay, with your zipper laying down, wrong side up, I've got my zipper pulls on already. You wanna marking measurement is in the pattern from the raw edge up on both sides. That's going to be your placement for this next piece, okay? So with this accordion piece that we just finished, you want the sewn little pleat to be facing up, okay? Up like this. My last one, I did it like this, and that was wrong. Up like that. You're going to line up the smaller edge here on that marking down here at the bottom. Okay, so wrong side of the zipper, and we're just lining it up on our marking right there and clipping it on, and we are going to baste that onto our zipper. We're going to do it on both ends with this piece on the same side of the zipper. All right, so if I got it on this side here, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to clip the other side right here. Okay, same side. And then I'm going to take it and baste this accordion piece onto my zipper. All right, here we go. Beautiful. So after those are added, we are now going to add the zip tab, which is pretty much going to turn this into a circle, into a gusset. So here's my zip tab pieces, right? I've got an exterior and a lining. You can either baste or tape. For this one, I think I'm just going to baste. So exterior to the right side of the zipper, just like this. Again, you can baste or tape. Up to you. I'm just going to baste this. All right, and then I'll flip it over and add my lining, just like you would a gusset, right? So we're pretty much making a gusset for this front zipper. It's going to go around that front zipper pocket. So now I'm going to clip that onto the back or tape it, whatever you want to do. And now you're going to sew that at the full seam allowance. Okay, when those are connected, you want to flip them out and we're going to top stitch. So flip them so they're both right sides out, and we're gonna top stitch along this seam down here. All right, so now we want to connect this to the other side. So we're going to bring the other side of the zipper up here, make sure it's not twisted, and we're going to connect the exterior first, right side to the other end of the zipper. And then we'll bring up the lining, and it kind of lays funky because you're making a full circle with it. So I'm going to take my lining piece here and I'm just going to bring it up and meet the back of this zipper, right side to the back of the zipper here. And it'll lay weird right here, but when it's sewn on and we turn it out, it'll make a circle. Okay, so now we want to just pop that open, and now we have this circle. So I'm going to top stitch this, and then I'm going to sew these 2 layers together so it's one full piece. Probably just go like this. And sew her up. Beautiful. All right. That is our front zipper for our bag. I'm going to go ahead and mark my centers on it and get that all done and out of the way because you'll need that for when we attach it. Make sure you know where your centers are at, and then we'll head to the next step. Let's work on the back slip pocket for the exterior. It's got a really cool construction, and you guys are gonna love this. Okay, so here's my exterior and my lining. Go ahead, and the measurements are on the pattern. You need to put some lines in from the edge on each piece. Pay attention to those measurements, and then put a strip of tape along the edges because you're folding them all in to be non-raw edges. Okay, so on my lining piece, I have the markings for my male magnetic snap piece. The marking is on your pattern piece, so transfer that. I put a layer of woven, self-adhesive woven. You can do some Decaville. Something behind your snap is always a good idea. I already cut my lines. I'm just going to insert that. Put my washer on, and then I like to fold my prongs in towards the center. Okay. And then I'm going to put another piece of self-adhesive woven over those prongs. You can use duct tape. You can use just regular woven interfacing and heat it on, whatever you want to do. Just cover up those prongs. You don't want them poking onto your other side. All right, so now I'm going to just fold my 4 edges to that line. All right. I have glue on my fingers. Sorry about that. Painting and doing this, so glue and paint. All right, so there's my lining. I'm going to do the same thing with my exterior. And then we're going to put these 2 pieces together and just top stitch. If you have like stiffer vinyl or thicker vinyl, you could use a seam roller and roll this seam so it's nice and flat. Mine's kind of softer vinyl, so it folds really nice. Okay, just like that. All right, now I want to put these 2 pieces together, so I'm going to put another strip of double-sided tape, top and bottom here. All right, so I want to do it this way. My vinyl kind of has a direction. All the stems are coming down this way, so I'm making sure, well, this one's not, but most of them are. So I'm making sure that it looks correct before I put the other piece on. All right, so I want to line. So your lining is going to be slightly smaller than your exterior on purpose so it doesn't poke out over the edges, if that makes sense. Okay, I'm going to top stitch. All right, so turn it back over. On the back here, we're going to make some markings. Again, marking measurements are in the pattern. You're going to do it along each raw edge side of your exterior, actually. So I'm going to get a different pen. We're going to do one here. And then one on this side, and then I'm going to put some tape as well along that edge. Right along your exterior edge. Oops, sorry, just hit the camera. All right, awesome. So that is my slip pocket all prepped and ready to go. Okay. I'm going to set that aside and I am going to grab my exterior back piece. Okay. I'm going to take my little blade tool, and what we are doing now is we are cutting along the slanted line here and this line here and back down. We're pretty much making hidden connectors, but for a slip pocket. Okay, just like that. So it should now be able to fold back this way. So we're going to put a piece of tape along there and we are going to press that back. I'm going to use my seam roller this time to really get that pressed back, because you don't want that to pop back up. You want that to stay. That's what it looks like from the front, okay? Looks good. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Awesome. Tape. All right. Beautiful. So now I want to take this piece and I am going to measure a straight line up from the bottom here because I want to make sure that my pocket is laying evenly when I put my pocket on. It's just pretty much a guide for my slip pocket. All right, so we are going to slide this slip pocket in. Just like that. And that's what this line was that we drew earlier. That's our guideline for where to line it up along this opening, okay? And this one as well. I'm gonna put that one in. Beautiful. All right, when you have it, everything looks even and where you want it, you're gonna take the tape off of this piece and we're pressing it down and in. All right. Oh, you know what? Before we do that, shoot. We were supposed to install our snap, so I'll take that out again. That's okay. So you want to press right here. Sorry, don't take the tape off yet. Press here, and you're going to get an indentation on, you should, on your exterior side. And that is where your magnetic snap goes. So I'm just going to go, whoops. It's fine. It's fine. So I'm going to install my snap first. And I've already got Decaville behind it, so I don't need to add an extra layer of anything to it. I'm good. But I will cover those prongs. Okay. And now we need to put our pocket on. So this still looks good. I don't need to worry about that side. So let's put this side back in. Looks good. Okay, I've got it all in there. This is what it looks like from the back. It's poking through there. I'm going to go ahead and take all of my silver marking pin stuff off real quick before I sew it, while I can still get to it here. You don't really want to leave the silver pen on your vinyl too long or else it won't come off. All right, so now we are going to do some stitching. We are going to start right at the top of our pocket here, and we are sewing along this exterior piece of our vinyl, pretty much top stitching down this folded edge. And then from here, we're going to be top stitching along the bottom of the pocket. And then we are top stitching back up the side of the exterior right there. So we're going to do that first. All right, that looks good. Do you see how it caught the pocket in the back here? So the last thing we need to do is close up this little opening right along here. So in order to do that, we are going to stitch now on the inside on the pocket piece down right alongside of it right there. And we've got markings for that. Yes, we do. In your pattern, she tells you the markings for this and where we're stitching, okay? So I'm going to draw my stitch line, and we're starting a little bit down from the top, not all the way at the top, because we're going to be putting a rivet right up there. And the rivet, you kind of really want it. It looks really good on it. So make sure you leave that space for the rivet. All right, I'm going to do my second little part of stitching. Okay, I'm starting at this point up here and ending down here at the bottom of the pocket. And that's going to close up that gap in the back. All right, you see that? So I started here, ended here. And now it tacked down this, so this isn't open anymore. See, closed. This one's still open. All right, we're gonna do this side now. Same thing, but I'm just starting at the bottom of the pocket this time here. And I like to start my stitching where my top stitching on the bottom part of the pocket is, so it kind of all lines up. Ugh, I love the construction of this pocket, you guys. Totally worth it. Okay, that's what it looks like when you're done. You got a nice slip pocket there. Isn't that pretty? So now we're just gonna put a rivet here and here along the top where we didn't stitch to just kind of tack that down and get that to stay. So I'm gonna go install a rivet here, and then we'll go on to the next part of the bag. Okay, so when we're done, the rivets are on right up there above your stitching where it started. And then I did add a piece of Decaville Heavy to the back just to give it a little extra, since you'll be kind of pulling that open and closed a lot. You don't want that to tear. All right, I'm gonna put that aside, and we are gonna work on those front pocket card slots. So like I said in the beginning, I'm doing 6 card slots this time. So this is card slot panel A, and I have 2 of them. It should be that size. I've already kind of done my fold ahead of time. And this is card slot panel B. Again, I have it pre-marked and folded just for recording, making it easier. Okay, so that is going to end up being 6 card slots when it's on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and then you should have your base piece, your card slot base. All right, so that's what we're working with. This part took me a hot second to get in my head on how to do this, so I'm going to try and explain it the best I can. All right, so this is A, card slot panel A. If you're doing 4 card slots, you only need 1 of these. 6 card slots, you need 2 of these. 8 card slots, you need 3 of these. I'm doing 6. All right, so I have this piece on the back. I have my Decaville light down where the pattern says. All the measurements are in the pattern. I've got this top line marked, and I have my top labeled, so I know that's the top of mine. And I have this bottom line marked. This is in step 1 on page A1 on page 33. Okay, so what you do is you're pretty much folding the top of this down to this line, this bottom marked line, and it will be right above where your Decaville light is. All right, so you want to fold that down to that line right there. You want to give it a good press. You can use heat. You can use a seam roller, whatever you want to do, but you want that folded right there to that line, okay? Again, that's the top folded to that back line there. So I've done that twice. I have 2 pieces like that. My top's a little bit off, but that's okay. All right, so this is now considered the back of your card slot, okay? So on card slot panel B, which is a little bit bigger of a piece, you're gonna do another marking up at the top here and down here. This is step 3 on page 34 at the top. You have your Decaville light piece where it says to place that. And then again, you're folding the top piece, wrong sides together, and putting it on this line down here. Okay, so when you're done, you have these 3 pieces folded, just like that. I'm going to top stitch along the top of all 3 of these first. I think I need to change my bobbin. I hear it. Let's see if I can get these done first. All right, so 3 pieces top stitched because I'm doing 6 card slots. Beautiful. 1, 2, 3. I'm going to check my bobbin real quick. All right, so we're going to take this base card slot base piece. I've got my marking on here already for the first card slot. So we're going to work with A first, card slot A. I'm going to take one of those and I'm going to put it along that line that I've marked here. All right. And I'm just going to clip that in place evenly along the top here. Okay. And then I want to flip this up. So my sew line now is going to be this right here. That's my guide for stitching this down. So I'm going to sew along this line. So I flipped up the top part of it and I'm just going to sew along this bottom part. Okay, sewed along that. I'm going to flip this back down and then I'm going to measure evenly from the top edge where we top stitch down for my next placement. Again, measurement is in the pattern and this is on page 35 for this measurement. Okay, so that's my guideline to place my next row of card slots. So I'm going to take my next panel A. I'm going to lay it on that line right there. So we're just kind of layering our card slots here. Beautiful. And now we're going to flip this up again. And when we top stitch, or not top stitch, when we sew this piece down, it's also going to sew the other piece of that first panel that we put down. So that one's fully secure. Beautiful. Okay, so now that one's down. The last one I have is this one, and I'm going to place that one down next. I'm going to measure first my placement here. And now I'm going to put my card slot panel B on top. So I've got A, and now B, because I am doing 6 card slots. All right, so again, I'm flipping this up and I'm going to top stitch. Not top stitch, I'm going to stitch down those 2 layers. Okay, so that's what that looks like. All right, awesome. Beautiful. So those are all enclosed, right? So the last thing I need to do is I need to trim this piece down here. And I think it looks like I'm trimming off my card slot base piece right here and leaving this long. That's what I'm doing. Okay, so you're trimming off your card slot base, but leaving this here. Okay. So I'm just going to trim that off. You just don't want the extra material. Okay, awesome. It's looking good. So now I want to base down my sides so these don't move anywhere, and then we'll separate the 2 layers. Or the 2 layers. We'll separate the 2 sides of the card slots. Well, I can try this way. I usually like to go the other way, but we'll see. Yeah, this works. All right. So the last thing that we want to do before we complete this is we want to separate these 2. Let me get my bigger ruler for this. I'm pretty sure, yeah. Okay, so find where your center is. And you want to mark that. Going down. And I'm going to do a double row. I'm going to come up and then I'm going to go back down because I'm extra. And that's okay. I just like to give it a little extra reinforcement for those card slots. All right, that looks good, guys. Yay. So those are my card slots. Ooh, so pretty. I like to take a card too. Yep, they're nice and even. Oh my gosh, those look really good. I'm very happy with those. All right, next step. All right, so we're gonna do some more markings. So you wanna take your card slot panel piece that we just completed, and along the top edge of that, you're gonna make a line. This is step, it's on the top of page 37. You're gonna do this line, and I went ahead and put some tape there. You're gonna want that tape, or you can iron. I'm gonna fold this raw edge down to that line. Again, this is the top of my card slot panel. All right, I'm gonna just use my tape, fold her down just like that. All right, so that's the top. I'm going to take my cash slip pocket. We want to make some markings. You want to do one line down from the top edge here. And then you want to fold the bottom of your cash slip pocket up to that line right there and press it or seam roll it or whatever you need to do to get it to stay flat, okay? And then you're gonna mark another line down from the edge. This is the bottom of the cash slip pocket. You're going to take another marking along the edge there. And I am going to do tape again. And I want to fold the raw edge down to that line. It's just lots of folding, marking, placing before you actually put the pieces together. All right. I'm going to take this tape off here and I'm going to fold this raw edge, the bottom raw edge down to that line here. Okay, so I folded the bottom up to that top marking here, and then I folded this bottom edge down to that line. Okay, so what we want to do now is we want to take this piece here and this folded edge here. We're going to line those two up together. That's pretty much what we did. We just made a finished edge along the top here. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put another piece of tape just so it doesn't want to move on me. And we're going to put those two together and top stitch. This is just making a cash slip pocket behind our card slots. Okay. So I'm going to top stitch those. I'm going to move this piece out. And I'm going to top stitch. Okay, and then this flips back up, and that's our whole pocket right there. Okay. Looks so good. I'm going to go ahead and now baste the edges here to keep this piece where it needs to be. Beautiful. All right, we've got a couple more markings to do. So top edge, cash slip pocket. They give you the measurement for how much that should be, and we're good. We're right on the money. All right. So we're going to do some more markings. Yay! Up from this edge is where this line is already at. So just double check that your line is still there. And then from that line down, we're going to mark another line. So from this line down, and this is top of page 38. And oh my gosh, the numbers are so little. I want to make sure I got the right number. Okay. So we're going to go right there. And we are going to mark another line. I'm doing that and this because I've got black and white. So that shows up on the white and this shows up on the black. Together, it makes a good line. Okay, so I've got a marking up at the top and down here. And then I also want to measure in from the edges as well. And this is pretty much what we're doing is marking our placement to put this in the lining piece. Because we have that cutout lining piece, and this is where that comes into play. think I also want to put tape. Do I want to put tape on it? No. Okay. So we've kind of got just like this box marked out on these because they're going to go in this piece right here in this window. Right. That's not correct. Did I not cut out this piece? Oh, we haven't folded it yet. That's going to go in this piece right here. So I've got markings on the back. Make sure you know where your top is. Okay. And then we're going to, this instruction is also on page 38. We are going to clip from this corner into this first line right there. And what we're going to be doing is folding this back to this other line here to make a nice finished edge. And this is going to be like our frame pretty much for this card slot panel that we just made. The whole purpose of this is it keeps our seam allowance light, guys. We don't have a big bulky seam allowance, but we have all of these card slots and this cash slip pocket. It's kind of fabulous. So, all right, so I'm going to put some tape. Okay, so we have our tape on. Now I'm going to fold back to that line, that second line. Just like that. And now this should line up with those other markings we made on our cash card slot pocket. Okay, so that's what it looks like when you're done. So the last thing I want to do is I'm going to put more tape on this, and what we're going to do is line it up along that square marking that we made along this piece. We're going to put that on there, and then we're going to sew it around. Isn't that cool? Like a little frame for our card slots. I like it. Again, if you wanted to skip this whole part, you could and just do a plain lining. That is totally your prerogative. You could do that, but this looks really pretty, guys. I really like the look of it. All right, let's do this. I'm going to do my top first, because I really want this to be kind of straight in there. Okay. That looks so good. All right, now I'm going to just sew around this edge, and then I'll trim anything that needs to be trimmed out of my seam allowance there. All right, here we go. Okay. That's awesome. All right, let me just trim this away here. And I'm going to trim this back too. Okay, that is our front pocket card slot. You got this cash, and then you have 6 card slots. Isn't that cool? Freaking love it. Okay, next up. All right, we're gonna work on our coin pocket that is also a slip pocket. I'm doing it just a tiny bit different than she has in the pattern. Instead of a zipper facing and 2 pieces for the lining, I converted it to just 1 piece, and I'm not doing the zipper facing. So I just added what those 2 pieces would be together and made it 1. And instead of drawing the box on the zipper facing, I'm doing it directly on the back of my lining piece here. So this is pretty much, you know, part of the zipper facing now. Okay, so this is the slip pocket piece that goes with it. It's slip pocket 1. On the back, before we begin, you need to mark in from each edge, measurements in the pattern, and then put a piece of double-sided tape along the edges. What's going to happen is we are going to fold these into that line when we're done doing the zipper pocket. And with the zipper pocket in this piece, it becomes also our slip pocket. Okay. So do that first. Turn it over. Make sure it's the right direction. Make sure your measurements are correct. Okay, I'm marking down my placement for this zipper pocket, just like I would for the zipper facing. It's the same placement. And then this right here, I'm gonna line up on that line, okay? Try to get it, you know what? I wanna make sure this is nice and centered. So I am just going to draw some lines and make sure I have it centered. If it's not centered, it might look wonky when it's all done. That's my center there. And here. All right, there we go. So what I'm going to do is right sides together. I'm going to line that up. So if you're not doing it this way, this is just your zipper facing piece up here. I just connected mine all together to be one. What we want to do is line our centers up right there. And I'm going to sew around my box. You can either do all the way around, or you can do 2 straight lines. I tend to have better luck all the way around. We can try the 2 straight lines. I haven't done that in a while. Sure. No, I'm going to do all the way around. That's just my preferred method. Do what works for you. I cannot see that line now. There we go. All right, keep that nice and straight. Get that on there. And I shorten my stitching just a little bit for this part to about a 4 on my machine. You want smaller stitches for this part, usually. And I'm just going to sew all the way around, or you can sew the 2 straight lines. cut the middle of that out now. I do have my iron on. I'm going to press this in and back after I get it all pulled through. Okay, do your little cut there. Other side. Beautiful. Push that through. I'm going to take this over to my iron because I can iron on this carefully. And I'm just going to get this all pressed back nice. You would do the same thing if you had the zipper facing. You could use some tape. Whoops. And tape this into place as well, but you want to get it nice and pressed back just like that. Okay, I'm going to do that on my iron real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, I have that nice and pressed back. Next thing I'm going to do is lay my zipper in that opening. Try and get it as centered as you can. I gave myself a little extra zipper tape that I can trim down after. I'd rather have more than less. Right, right. Okay, make sure I like my zipper to open or close left at the left side and open to the right. So make sure you have that laying in there right. And now sew around your opening. And I change back to my top stitch length, like a 4.5, okay? I don't like how that's laying, just a minute. Doop. Okay. Once that's done, you want to turn it over. We are going to pull this up to the top here and close it up. And you can close up the entire thing. I like to sew from the lining side. I'm going to lift this up. Actually, no. I like to start over here. There we go. All right, close her up. All right, and then you should have a nice little coin pocket. I'm going to trim it down just a tiny bit along here because we don't want that in our seam. And along here. Beautiful. All right, next thing we want to do is finish this pocket up. So we are going to fold in our edges here. It's a little off. Just a minute. Just a minute. There we go. And now we're turning this into a slip pocket. And folding that up. Ooh, is my pocket just slightly too big? So your zipper pocket, I'm gonna just make my zipper pocket just the tiniest bit smaller. It's a little bit too big. It's fine. It's just because I used all one piece, so I need to take like, I don't know, a ½ inch off that big piece that I used. You don't want this in that bottom part of your slip pocket. All right, make it just a tiny bit shorter. Easy fix, right? And now, there we go. Now it's not in this bottom seam here. So you want to fold that wrong sides together, right sides out. Awesome. We are going to just baste this top together. Mine's a little bit crooked. I think this got sucked in a tiny bit just because I'm using kind of, you know, slicker fabric. I think I'm still going to baste it like that because then when I put the trim on, it'll be straight. And that'll make up for that little bit that got sucked in. All right, so all that's left to do on this piece, you should have a functioning little coin pocket there, right? Now we just need to put on the trim. So you want the trim, slip pocket trim 1 or A, what is it? Slip pocket trim, I don't know, it doesn't say on here. The first one, the shorter one of the two. And I'm just going to try and center it. I'm actually going to do it along this edge. So I only have to trim off one edge. It's my iron. Sorry for that. Okay. And then I want to fold it evenly down. And then I will top stitch this. That looks pretty dang good. All right. On this side, I'll just trim down. All right, I'm going to top stitch that on. Looks good. We did it. Yay. Okay, so after that's done, the only thing left to do is to attach this to one of our main lining panels. Okay, so get out a lining panel. And I don't have my centers marked. I've been marking my centers on these panels as I go. So make sure as you are either before or while you are doing this, that you are marking all your centers on your panels and your zipper tapes, because when we put this all together, in the very end, you're going to need all of those center marks along all 4 sides. All right. I'm going to put this pocket on. Okay, we're going to go up from the bottom on this one. I'm just going to mark my center so I can kind of see where I'm going with this. Excuse me. I'm going to add some tape just so it sticks where I want it to when I put it down, because my materials are a little slick. I don't want it to slide on me. All right, I actually have my center marked on the back here for when I did that other stuff, so I should be able to do this pretty easily. Right there. Looks pretty even. Okay, I'm going to sew this down, across, and back up. And this will be done. Beautiful. All right. All done with that one. It's pretty. Okay, put this aside. Let's go. Let's do our slip pocket number 2. So this is number 2, and then trim number 2, and then another lining piece here. All right, so this is the way your slip pocket is gonna lay. Make sure you have it the right way. We're gonna flip it over. We wanna fold the edges in evenly. So you wanna do the markings on the back sides. And then we're gonna put tape on and fold them in just like we did on the last slip pocket. Same idea. It's my favorite way to do slip pockets, guys. It's easy, it's quick. You don't have to deal with like turning it out and getting everything pressed out, you know, just so. It's my favorite. All right, so fold that to the line, and then I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Oh. Beautiful. Okay, and then you're going to fold that up, raw edges together up here. We're gonna baste it up at the top. And then we will add our trim piece to the top. Now is the perfect time to put in a little cute tag on this pocket. If you want a cute tag, I need to look at my tags. I'm gonna get one. All right, just going to baste that first. I'm gonna go find a cute tag to put underneath this trim piece. It's my favorite spot to put tags. Little woven ones with cute sayings. All right, this one's kind of cute. It says, "I'm rooting for you." That's cute. We'll do that one. All right, so you wanna put your trim piece on. I've got my center marked, and then a tape along the front and back. I put it just below the center line, and then it kind of lines up nicely because you have to account for folding it over, right? So I'm gonna fold and I clip because it never stays. All right, I'm gonna top stitch that down. I'll slide in my tag when I get about right there. And trim this little guy off here. Okay, let's do it. I'm going to slide this in about right here. Cute. Okay, that's our slip pocket. Here's our lining. Measurement is in the pattern for how far up to place this pocket. All right. Go ahead and do that. I'm going to mark my center too. See that? There's my center. That look about right. Yep, okay. I'm going to put a little tape along the bottom. And then we do want to separate these two layers, or these two layers, the slip pocket into two pockets. You can do it down the center. You can do one side bigger than the other. However you want to separate it, totally up to you. So I'm just doing mine down the center. Beautiful. Okay. There we go. Let's stitch that on. It looks good. Okay, easy. You can put rivets on the pocket like she does in the pattern if you want. I'm not going to. Although a rivet right there would be really cute. Maybe I'll put a rivet right there in between my two rows of stitching. That might be really cute. And then we'll go to the last lining pocket. Okay, so I have the rivet on the middle of my slip pocket. I really like it. It looks cute right there. And then I put some Decaville Heavy on the back there just to give it a little extra. So that's cute. Okay, done with that one. Last lining pocket, you guys. Last one. So I'm doing a zipper overlay. instead of just a regular zipper pocket with a zipper facing. Super easy. I just cut a shape out of my vinyl. It's 8 inches long total with like a 7-inch zipper opening. I'm using the same lining pieces that come in the pattern. So this is pretty much replacing the zipper facing. I'm doing a zipper overlay. So I've got tape on the center back of my overlay. I've got tape on the top right side of both pieces here. And then I have tape on my zipper along both edges. Okay, so this is how I'm going to do it. So first, I want to add my zipper overlay to my piece. I need to mark my center on here. I have it marked on here. I have my placement and my center marked. So I just want to make sure I line all that up. I'm going to take the tape off and center that and line it up on straight on that line. Make sure the box is not bent in. That looks great. All right. Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to sew along the outside edge of this overlay first. And I am going to pull through my stitching because I'm using black thread. So, yeah, I'm going to pull through my stitches or my threads. So I'm not going to back stitch. I'm just going to go forward. Okay, I'm going to stop right here, and I like to pull this thread through first so I don't end up with a bunch of threads that I don't know what to do with. So I pull through before I come to it, okay? All right, I'll keep those out. And then I'm going to stop my stitches right where I started. Right there. Okay, I'm going to pull that. I'm going to hold on to my threads. Hold on. Okay, keep a hold of this back thread so you know which one to tug on. And then that'll pop the front thread through. Say that 5 times. And then you can tie these off. You can just tie them off all together too if you want. Now, you only need to do this if your stitching matters. Like for the full assembly of the bag, when I'm sewing together all of my main pieces and the gusset assembly, all that stuff, you don't need to do this. This is only a technique you need to use if you need really clean stitches on the front side. Beautiful. Okay, now I want to cut out this middle section. Oh, that looks good. That looks good. All right. I want to cut this middle section out here, which is why we put tape in the middle of the overlay and not along the inside edge, because we need to be able to cut away from that inside edge. And if we had tape sticking there, we wouldn't be able to do that. Okay, beautiful. All right, so I'm going to take my zipper and my first lining piece. I want my zipper to be closing to the right for this first part. I'm going to take off the tape off of my lining piece. Just like that. And place my zipper tape up at the top. Okay, the zipper is closing to the right. I have this piece upside down, okay? I'm going to take the tape off of the top of the zipper here, and I'm going to move in this piece. It's upside down, and I'm going to place it into the box that I have cut out here. I'm trying to get it nice and centered in there. Beautiful. Yep, that's going to line up nice. Okay, so now I want to start about 1 stitch length before the box and end 1 after. I'm just sewing underneath. Again, not back stitching, leaving my stitches long. Okay. I'm going to go one more, a little one here. There, just okay. Okay. Just like that. I'm going to pop those threads through, and tie. All right. Now, if you want to get this to stay where it needs to, you can put, I've seen other designers do this, you could put a layer of tape down at the bottom here. So when you fold this down, it stays, right? So when you go like this, it's going to stay where you want it. You see that? You can do that. All right, I like to place the top part into my box first, and then I'll add my lining piece. All right, here we go. Beautiful. And then I'll take my other lining piece and sandwich it on top, right side down, along the top of the zipper. Right there. Okay, that's the back. You got your zipper in the middle there, and then the front. So now I'm going to start here, come up along the top and back down, and align those stitches with the ones before, so it'll be one continuous box. So I like to put my needle where it needs to go first. I'm going to put it down in my material, hold my threads, and just go forward. And then come down. Okay. that might be the best looking zipper overlay I've done in a while. That looks really good. Yay! So pretty. All right. Tie off your threads. And we are done with all of our lining pieces. And then we will head to our main zipper panel and gusset. Oh, and we need to close this pocket up, obviously. I'm going to sew that up real quick and trim off that piece that's a little longer down there at the bottom. And then we'll close up the sides and the bottom. We don't need to leave any openings. This is a bound bag. So we don't need to leave openings on these main panels pockets. A very front panel pocket, the big one, is a turn through the zipper, or yeah, through the lining. But all of these are not. Okay, I'm gonna close this up real quick. Now I'm done. If you have any extra zipper here, you can trim that down. You really don't want that anywhere near your side seam there. Beautiful, melt it. All right, let's head to the zipper panel and gusset. All right, so before we get to the zipper main panel, we got to do our D-ring connectors. I forgot to do those at the beginning. So you have 2 of those, and I have my center marked, tape on the edges. We're just folding our raw edges in, and we're going to top stitch down the sides. Easy. Easy, easy. So I'll just do those both at the same time. Okay, there we go. All right, our 2 D-ring connectors. Put those aside. You're going to be using those after we assemble our zipper panel. All right, our zipper panel. I'm doing it just the normal way I like to do zipper panels. I've got 2 exterior, 2 linings. I have a row of, or a side on the right side of each piece of double-sided tape. I do that in place of basting. So I'm going to take this first piece here. I cut my zipper longer than my pieces because I'm going to be putting on 2 zipper pulls at the end, and I want enough space along each end for to wiggle the pulls on. So I didn't cut it the same size, bigger than the piece. Okay. So, all right. So I'm going to take this along the edge, right sides together. I'm just taping this down. Okay. So the right side of the zipper and the right side of the exterior are facing each other. Okay. Just like that. And then I'm going to sandwich a lining piece right on top. Take the tape off, right sides down. Okay, I'm just lining them up together here. And then I'll tape it along the edge, going down. And then I'll sew it on. Seam allowance is in the pattern. Follow that seam allowance and you should be good to go. Okay. Sandwich, zippers facing the exterior. All right, and then you want to turn those pieces right sides out, wrong sides together, and then you're going to top stitch and baste all of the layers. So I like to use some clips and clip them together and just make sure that everything is out where it needs to be. Especially when you're using this bonded poly stuff, it's a little slick. So if you don't kind of pull it out and clip it, it may slip back, and that would not be good because then it'll get in the way of your zipper and it won't be even with your exterior. So make sure you're clipping these out and together. All right, here we go. There's one side. Now we're just going to repeat for this other side. You just want to make sure that you're lining these two up together, or you can mark your centers on everything. Either way works. Do whatever works for you. Now I'm going to sandwich the other side on. Okay. Sew that on. and our top stitch. Beautiful. All right, before you go any further, don't forget to put on your zipper pulls, because now we'll be sewing up the sides of the zipper here and you won't be able to do it after this point. So put on those pulls. Don't do them crooked though, like me. There we go. There's one. To the other side. Beautiful. Okay, there's my pulls. We are going to take our D-ring connectors. We're going to do a couple of markings on these. A silver pen, I think. And, yep. Okay, so on each side, on one end of the right side, you're going to do one marking. Right side, and measurement is in the pattern. You're going to turn it over and now go to the other end and do the other marking. Okay, you should have one line on the front, one line on the back, and those are pretty much just placement lines. So the way these D-rings are connected are really cool. You guys are going to really like this. Like, I love it. Love how she did this. All right, so we want to put these on, is it wrong side up? Right sides together, yeah. Okay, so with your right side down, your wrong side up, that line that you marked on the back of your piece is going to line up with the edge of your zipper panel. Okay. I will trim down my zipper as well. I'm going to baste this on the edge here, and then I'll trim down my zipper because I have extra. Okay. Don't trim down the extra on the connector though. I'm just trimming down this zipper tape. I don't need this extra zipper tape. Leave that there. You need that. Don't trim that off. Later. Okay. So that's how we want it connected, wrong side up, because then we're going to slip on the D-ring and it's going to go inserted into your gusset like that. And we're doing a hidden D-ring connector with it. It's really super cool, guys. All right, I'm just going to trim this off now. Okay, I'm going to put this one wrong side up. line it up with the edge, baste it on. Okay. Beautiful. All right, now we're going to get our exterior gusset piece. And I need to do some cuts first before we do anything else. So we need to cut out this little hidden D-ring area right here. All right, and it's just like we did on that back slip pocket panel. I'm gonna go on the inside of my markings and cut that slanted side, the top, and back down. I'm telling you, if you don't have a blade tool like this, you need to get one. It's great for bag making. I use this Fiskars blade tool all the time. I'm pretty sure it's linked on my Amazon. I could be wrong. All right, so now you've got a little opening that looks like that. It's a flap, okay? That's what it should look like. Okay, I'm gonna do the same thing on this other side here. Okay, again, should have a little flap. Okay. You can use tape or you can baste. Up to you. I'll do it how she has in the pattern. Let's use some tape. We're going to put tape along each of the right sides of our gusset exterior and lining pieces. Here's my lining piece. All right, so we're going to connect it to our zipper panel and install each D-ring one at a time as we go. All right, so I'm going to put on my pieces here. Okay, one end to one end here. I'm going to line up right sides together. Just like that. Actually, we're going to do it right there. It's a little bit uneven. That's okay. So my piece is slightly, my zipper panel is slightly smaller than my gusset piece. That's okay. It's not enough that I need to worry about it. It'll all be made up for in the end when I sew it all together. So don't freak out if they don't line up perfectly. It all depends on your materials and what your seam allowances were. Okay, so I'm going to do right sides together with the lining now. Sandwiching that zipper panel in between. Okay. Okay, and then we're going to sew that on at our full seam allowance. Oops, just threw my ruler away. All right, so we're gonna press those out, both the exterior and the lining, and we're gonna top stitch that down. And your D-ring connector is still laying up towards your zipper panel, okay? Leave that there. We'll deal with it in a minute. My bobbin's caught. There we go. Okay. Okay, so that's what we're looking at right now. What we want to do is flip this lining out of our way. Okay, flip the lining gusset piece out of the way. We're dealing with this now and going to attach it. So you should be able to push this down. Doesn't matter if you do right now or not. You can just do that so you can see what you're doing though. Measurements are in the pattern for the placement, but you want to stitch right above this opening, and that's going to stitch down this bottom part of your D-ring, okay? So I am stitching across. You don't want to go outside of that connector. You want to stay like inside that D-ring connector piece. I'm going to go right here and just stitch a line across that D-ring connector. What's going on? Mine went a little funky. Just a minute. I don't know if it'll make a difference. It'll be covered. Okay, because you stay in that seam allowance in between under that D-ring. When you bring this down, that'll be covered. So if it doesn't look that great, that's okay. Mine kind of jumped for some reason. So when you look at the back, you should have stitches through it. Okay. Grab one of your D-rings. Slide your D-ring on. You're going to put this down into the opening here. Okay. Down into this opening. It's so cool. All right, you're going to flip this over. You want to lay it. This is just like a hidden D-ring connector. So that line that we drew earlier is our guideline for how far to pull this through. So there's my line right there. And I want this cutout to be on that line. Just like that. Okay, the line lines up with that. On the other side, we should have the other side of the connector sandwiched with it. So when we sew this next step, we are sewing through both sides of this D-ring connector, and we're sewing this little flap down. And it's gonna kind of connect everything together. Okay, here we go. I'm going to bring you guys in closer for this. Right there is where I want to sew. And again, what is going on? My thread's misbehaving. I'm gonna have to rethread. Okay, so when it's all connected, it should look like that. I think I'm gonna have to, I don't know why I'm going to have to do some investigation real quick. I think I need to rethread my bobbin real quick, but that's what it looks like when you're done. So we sewed across right there. My threading looks gross. But it sewed that flap down and it sewed both of these connector pieces together. It's just like a hidden D-ring. It is a hidden D-ring, not just like, it is. After we do that, we are going to just be putting a rivet right here on the connector strip, and then right below, which kind of gets these other layers all together. All right, so I have my rivets on. Looks good. Beautiful. Okay, so now I want to repeat that same thing on the other side. So first I need to place my pieces all on. So you're going to make a circle with it. All right, we're making a circle first. So you want to do exterior to exterior, baste or tape, and then get your lining up, lining to lining, and attach that to the other side. Okay, I'm going to sew that on. Okay, and then you want to turn it all out. See how it's a circle now? Okay, we want to top stitch that down, and then we'll move the lining out of the way and do the other hidden D-ring. Okay, so I'm going to move this lining out from under here. I am going to first stitch above this cutout right along that D-ring connector. And that just attaches that bottom part of the connector down onto our material first. Let me get our D-ring, slide that on, and then we're going to slide it through our opening here. Okay, and then we want to turn it over to this side and kind of sandwich that all out here. Okay, line up your line with the edge of that cutout. Sandwich these two pieces together, and now we're going to sew that cutout and your two D-ring pieces. All right. Looks good. Looks good. All right. That's that. Okay, turn it out. Make sure it all looks the way it needs to look. Beautiful. Okay, so now I'm going to rivet right above and right below. I'm just eyeballing. You can measure for exact measurements. Okay. If you want, you can put some extra material behind. It's pretty thick. Does she do it in here? Well, it doesn't say. I don't see a picture. I think we'll be okay. It's pretty thick. Okay, so I'm going to take that to my press. I'm going to press those rivets on. And then the last thing we need to do with this gusset is connect these bottom two pieces so it's all one piece. And we'll mark our centers. All right, just a word of advice on these connectors. I think I pulled it too much. My cutout piece here, I think I pulled it in too much, and it kind of has just a tiny bit of a, you know, wrinkle or ripple. It's not horrible, but I think I pulled it out too much and sewed it too far down. So just pay attention to that. I think that just comes with practice, honestly. But hopefully next time. That didn't happen on my first bag. I don't think I pulled it as much on my first bag, maybe. So now I'm just connecting these 2 layers together, and I'll baste them so it's all one. Mark my centers, and we've pretty much done all of the piecing, and now we get to put together all the parts. Okay, so I'm just basting these 2 layers now. All right, looks good. All right, so to clip your centers, you just line those gussets up first, those gusset seams here, and you're gonna clip your top and bottom centers here, and then you'll fold it the other way and clip the other centers. All right, let's keep going. Okay, so now that we have all the pieces together, it is time to assemble. So I'm just making sure this is laying right. Yes. Okay. So I have my front panel here. I've got my 4 corners marked. This is my front zipper. Make sure you have your 4 points marked. So this is a really tight fit. It's amazing and makes a great pocket, but it's a really tight fit around these corners. So she suggests basting your corners if you want to, like hand basting, sewing. I just used pliers and tape last time, and it did pretty good for me. So I'm going to do that again. So I'm just going to first clip on all of my my center markings, and then I'll work on my corners. And my dear friend Linda gave me these clips. These are metal clips, and they're pretty dang strong. So I'll be using those too to help me out. I'll just show you how I do it. This is the most time-consuming process of the whole bag, is just putting these zippers on and getting them to look good. But totally worth it. It makes such a gorgeous bag in the end. I am going to be switching out to a zipper foot because I need to be able to get around these zippers. And yeah, here we go. So make sure you got right sides together. You want the side with this little accordion gusset piece. That's the side of the zipper that we're clipping on to the front panel. Okay, so make sure that that's the right piece here. Now you don't typically, so if this was just vinyl and vinyl that I was clipping on, I could do snips into this piece and have it lay nice. But with zipper tape, you don't really want to snip into the zipper tape. It could fray. So we're just gonna give it some good tugs and stretches, and we're gonna get it to fit. It's tight for a reason. It'll fit a lot better if it's nice and stretched out and tight, okay? All right, so I've got my 4 centers all clipped on. All right, so this is going to you're gonna have to kind of shove it in, and it's gonna fit like that. Do you see how it's, all right, that's correct. That is correct. That's how you want it to fit. It's gonna be really tight. That's what we want. And you're just gonna kind of work that vinyl. You could put some tape on there if you wanted to. That's not the right clip. I think I'm just going to use clips on this part. I did it last time for the basting and went really slow, and it was okay. Okay, I'm going to put lots of clips around it. Okay. If you're like, what if I staple? My hesitation with stapling this is that you're stapling through the zipper tape, and you're gonna need to pull those staples out. And I would be afraid that it would rip some holes into my zipper tape and then cause it to fray. So that is why I'm not doing a stapler on this. I will do a stapler on one part later. Yeah. Okay. So that's 2 corners, but do you see how tight? Just really get that stretched in there nicely. You can do it. You can do it. And these metal clips are kind of amazing. Just get some really strong clips, you guys. Or based, hand based these corners. You could do that. Okay, my last one here. Okay, so that's my front panel. It looks good. So I'm just gonna go slow. And what I'm gonna do, so this front panel is going to be turned in the end after we add the other piece on top. So because of that, the turn hole is gonna be down here at the bottom. So we want our seam allowance for this basting part to be the full seam allowance down here at the bottom, since this is going to be our turning hole. So we're going to do a 1/4 inch seam allowance right down here where our turning hole is. And then the rest of this, we are doing an 1/8 inch seam allowance on this basting. The reason we do that is that when we add the other panel to this bag, we are going to be sewing at a 1/4 inch seam allowance around the entire thing, except for leaving this hole open. So because we sewed the first one at a 1/4 inch, when we turn it all through, it'll lay correctly. It's the same way that we do the Louis waist bag on that front panel, if you've done that before. All right, we're gonna take it slow. Let's baste this panel. All right, somebody recently suggested some pliers instead of hemostats to hold things where you need them to stay when you're sewing. So I'm going to try a pair of pliers this time. All right, so I'm going to start down here, and I'm going to start with my 1/4 inch seam allowance down here at the base. So basically, this will be the length of our turning hole when we turn the panel later after we put the lining piece on, okay? So just right along here, 1/4 inch seam allowance. Okay, so now I'm gonna start at my 1/8 inch basting this on, and I'm not sure if it's better to sew with the vinyl exterior side up or down. I feel like I have more control over the placement of everything this way, because if I turn it over, my zipper could slip and I wouldn't be able to see it. So I'm going to try it this way. I think this is the way I did it on my first bag as well. All right, so I'm going to use these pliers and kind of pull my zipper to keep it aligned with my exterior. Oh yeah, that works kind of nice. So I'm just grabbing that zipper, making sure it doesn't slip as I go. These clips are amazing. They're so strong. Oh, hey, that works pretty good, guys. Okay. This might be my new favorite tool. I'm pretty sure I got these for jewelry making forever ago. Wow. Okay, these work really good, you guys. So I'm just grabbing my zipper tape and pulling it so it doesn't slip as I'm basting. Pulling it to the edge. Maybe. Come on. There we go. Wow, that works so good. Okay. It's a nice tight fit. Like I said, it makes a really nice front panel being this tight. Almost there. All right. I think that went a lot better than my first bag. All right, as you can see, ooh, I got it perfect. That looks great. Look at those corners. Yes, that's what we're looking for. That's what we're going for. Okay, so we are going to add our lining on top of this. And for this part, we are not going to sew from here to here. That's going to be our turning hole for our lining piece. Make sure that you're putting your lining piece pocket facing up towards, last time I did this, I put my pocket piece on upside down. So make sure you're doing your pocket piece correctly. What we're going to do is match up our centers and get it all on there nice. I am going to put some double-sided tape along the curves here and tape down my lining just so I can make sure that it's not going to move while I sew this part on. All right, so I just put tape along these edges here. All right, so we're going to sandwich this now. So zipper pocket going up, and I am just going to do my centers first, and then we'll work on the curves. Okay, one little note that I want to tell you. The most important thing when you are attaching the second layer, it's not that your lining lines up perfectly with your exterior on the corners. It's that your zipper, when you're clipping it on, make sure that it is clipping flat. Because if you clip it and it's like, it's all twisted like that, and you go to sew it, it's not going to turn out well. You need to make sure as you're clipping it, you are getting all of those clips on so your zipper is laying flat in between your two layers. Your lining may go a little bit farther out than your exterior, and that's fine. That's fine. Just make sure that your zipper is nice and smooth in between these two layers. It will make a world of difference when you go to sew this on. That's why I have so many metal clips right there on the curves. It's just, I'm really making sure that zipper is pressed down flat in between my layers here. Okay, and then when I go to sew this on, I'm gonna go from the side where I can see the zipper tape and my previous stitching, so I know I'm getting a consistent 1/4 inch around. Okay, so I'm gonna sew it this side up this time because I wanna follow the edge of the exterior and the zipper and not the edge of my lining, because my lining might go a little bit over and then I wouldn't get an even seam allowance on it. Okay, so when I start, I'm gonna start down here where that 1/4 inch seam allowance ends down here on the bottom piece. And I'm going to start 1/4 inch all the way around and stop at this other side. I'm gonna leave a hole in the bottom of a piece from here to turn it through. I'm gonna switch to a zipper foot as well, and we will sew this on. I need to make sure that my zipper is not in the way here. Okay. Okay. All right, so do you see how my lining kind of went a little bit farther on the corners there? That's okay. That's okay. I'm just going to trim that down. My main focus was getting the zipper to look good. And I think we did it. We'll know when we turn this out. Okay. Let's turn this out through this little opening right here. So far, looks good. All right, I think we did it. All right, so there it is turned out. Got a little thing that I need to trim there. Okay, so we just want to get this pulled out really nice before we top stitch. I'm going to get some tape and we are going to tape this closed right along that seam there. So when we go to top stitch our piece, what's going to happen is it's going to close up that opening in our lining. Okay. I'm just going to zip my zipper around, see what we got here. I see one pucker, two puckers. Sometimes those puckers smooth out when you top stitch. All right, looks pretty good. Yeah, I mean, wow, that looks pretty good. All right, you guys, here we go. We're gonna top stitch this now. And just go slow and make sure that lining stays where it needs to down here at the bottom. And you should be good to go. All right, here we go. We're gonna top stitch. I've got this folded and taped where I want it. I'm gonna start down there. Just so it doesn't come undone or anything. I changed back to my regular foot for this. You want your wings to lay out for this top stitch as well. All right, here we go. And I just kind of pull my zipper and materials flat as I go. I'm pretty sure I want this line flat. Let me double check. Yeah. Okay. Oh, my zipper. I should have done it the other way. That's okay. Good news is my pocket on the inside is going the correct way this time. Unlike my first time doing this bag. Okay. She's all top stitched. I am happy with it. Let's turn it around. I got my layers together. It didn't line up completely, missed a little bit, but it's perfect. It's closed. We're good. Oh, that looks, you guys, I'm very happy with it. All right, there's our front panel. Oh, guys, it looks really good. Okay, so next we need to add the back piece to this. All right, so we're gonna do that now. So we're gonna be doing a couple things now. So I'm gonna unzip this again. We need to connect the other side of our little accordion wings here to our zipper. So you should have a center marked here. And I have a center marked on my accordion piece as well. Or I did. What did I have? Oh no, I had the piece where we placed the first half. I have that marked on this other side. So I'm just going to place it there. And we are going to baste this now to the other side of the zipper. Because we don't want to forget to connect this. All right, just like that. So when I placed this piece on, I marked on both sides my placement with a non-erasable pin. So it's an actual pin. And that now I can see where that needs to line up. Okay. So I'm going to do that to both sides and just baste that onto the zipper here. And then I'll do that with the other side as well. There's my marking right there. So I'm lining up the bottom right there. All right, once you have that connected, you are going to take your card slot piece and your slip pocket piece. We need to connect these two together. So you want to put them wrong sides together, right sides out. And we're going to baste these two pieces. Make sure they're going the correct direction. They're both facing up. So you see the right sides of each of them. And because this next part, we're going to baste this piece on the other side of the zipper here. And then we're going to be putting on the gusset and binding that. Okay, the binding is not going to be in the way of the zipper, which is fabulous. It won't be in the way of the zipper. The way this bag is done is awesome. You don't have to worry and fight with that binding around your zipper at all. The hardest part, we just did it. That front pocket piece, take your time on that. I think that's the most difficult part of this bag to get to look the way you want it. So just take your time on that one. Okay, so I'm just basting these pieces together. Okay, so now we want to connect this piece to our zipper here. So we're going to sandwich it so the card slots are facing in towards our zipper pocket here. And now we're clipping around again and getting this all to fit in nicely. So I'll be taking my time again on those curves, on those corners, just like we did before. And when I add the other piece, I will put my zipper foot back on when we add the gusset piece to this, just to make sure I get a good stitch around my zipper. Okay, so just like we did before, now we just have to fit our corners in. It's a little bit easier with the lining material. You're not fighting it as much, in my opinion. It's easier than the vinyl. Okay, just like that. Ooh, look how pretty that pocket's gonna be. Love it. All right. Again, if you wanted to hand baste needle and thread, go for it. Whatever way works for you. There's so many different ways to do bags, you guys. I'm loving these metal clips. I'm going to have to get the link for them. Thank you, Linda, my sweet friend Linda, for thinking of me. I'll have to ask her for the link for y'all. They really are stronger than these plastic clips, and they're easier than the binder clips that people use. Those I cannot get open and closed easily enough. These are a lot easier. Kind of magical. Okay. Last side. I'm really excited for this bag. I think it's going to be awesome. All right, so now we're just going to baste this entire thing. We don't have to worry about a turn hole, different seam allowances. We're going to baste the whole thing on, because then this side gets attached to our gusset. and we bind it on the other side. Okay. So we're just going to take our time, go slow around, and yeah, let's get to that point. Again, I'm just using these tools to pull the zipper and hold it so it doesn't slip as I sew, because it tends to want to pull in and we want to tell it, no, thank you. Okay, we have got our second side basted in there. Ooh, she looks good. All right, so now I'm going to, oh my goodness, that looks so good. All right, next step. So before we move on to connecting the gusset, and I need to grab some fold over elastic too. We want to connect our last two panels. So you should have a zipper pocket and your back pocket here. We're just going to do it like we did with our other piece and baste. I'm like, I don't think I marked my centers on this piece. I did not. That was so silly of me. All right, let me mark my centers real quick on this piece. We're going to baste these two together, right sides out, wrong sides together, because it's going to be bound. And then we're going to start binding this bag, you guys. You got this. We got this. All right. Make sure they're both going up. Same directions. All right. Clip it together. All right, we're gonna baste. All right, beautiful. All right, first thing we're gonna do is connect our gusset to this front panel piece. All right, are we ready? I like to keep this unzipped because it's nice to be able to kind of pull it in as I go so it's not in my way. All right, so I'm gonna get my gusset, turn it right side out, or right side in, wrong side out. And I have my centers clipped on everything. And we're gonna put these two together first. So I'm gonna unzip my zipper. It's always easier if you unzip it. And we are going to start clipping it to this side of our bag, which I'm saying this kind of gets in your way, so kind of tuck it in and out of your way. Okay, here we go, guys. It's gonna take me a hot second to get this all clipped. All right, that looks awesome. All clipped in. So I think I'm gonna sew it from this way. Might be easier than sewing it. I don't remember. Did I go this way last time? Maybe I squished it. I don't remember which way I sewed it. I usually like to sew with the gusset side up. So maybe I'll do gusset side up. Just make sure all your zipper pulls are out of your way. I'm gonna switch back over to a zipper foot because I am sewing this around the zipper and it just makes it a little bit easier. And then we'll get our fold over elastic and bind it. And then all we have to do after that is add the last side. Okay, I'm gonna take this at my full seam allowance. I have my zipper foot on to get around those zipper pulls and we should be good. I'm just going to kind of look at all of my, I'm going to turn this out first and make sure it looks good because when we do the binding, we're just pretty much stitching over our previous stitches. So it needs to look good now. And I think I'm happy. Let's zip it up. Yep. Hey, hey. That looks really good. Okay, so we're good on that. So all we have to do now is add the binding to this side, and then we'll put our back piece on. We are almost there. Whoop, whoop. All right, so I have my fold over elastic. It's 1 inch wide. Sell it on my website. You could use cotton binding like she has in the pattern, or you could do this. So I wrapped a piece around and gave it a little stretch. You want it to be kind of snug, and then I cut it. So this is about 27.5 inches long. So we'll see how this one fits. I put back on my normal walking foot for this part. I'm going to sew these 2 pieces together, right sides together. Okay, because I want to make just a loop. And then I'm just going to trim this down just a little bit like that and melt my edges. Okay, beautiful. I'm going to take a chalk pen as well and mark the other side so I know where the other center of the elastic is. It just helps with putting it on. All right, so I want my seam, I think, to be down at the bottom. I've got some fuzzies there. Just a minute. All right, so I'm going to put the seam where I connected the 2 down here at the bottom. I'm just going to encase the raw edge and clip. I'll do a couple clips at the bottom here, and then I'll go to the top center, get that in, and then we'll work the rest in around it. Fold over elastic is my favorite method of binding. I find that it's the easiest. It takes just a tiny bit of practice, but once you got it, you'll be like, oh my gosh, this was so easy. All right, I probably could go just a little smaller on the elastic for the next side. Maybe 1 inch smaller, because you do want it to be kind of, I wonder if I should do that real quick. It's not snug enough, guys. I'm going to go just a tiny bit smaller, okay? Just fix it now, right? All right, so we're going to go maybe and take another inch off. Okay. Let's get it right the first time. There we go. So I didn't take a ton off, just enough so it stretches a little bit more. All right, so here we go. This method is pretty forgiving, which is fabulous. I usually like to match my thread to whatever color the elastic is. So I'm using black thread, so I've got black, come on, I've got black fold over elastic. That's a little bit better. You do want it to have just a little bit of a stretch. It helps it stay in place. It helps it not wrinkle as you sew it on as well. Just try and get it evenly clipped on both sides. And then we will sew this on. Okay, here we go. I forgot to unzip it. I don't know if I can get around it. All right, just a minute. I need to unzip my panel on the inside. It's a little bit harder to get around it. There we go. I'm like, why is it not smushing? That's why. Metal clips, not so great for binding. They kind of pull the binding when I pull them off. So I'll have to do plastic clips for the binding next time. Great for putting layers together, not for binding. Good to know, good to know. All right, let's look at what we got. Hopefully we got both sides of the binding as we went. Looks good. Looks good. All right, all done with that side. So now we need to add this other side. Pretty simple. We're not fighting zippers. We're not having to deal with any extra layers. So save the easiest for the last. Yay. All right, here we go. So you want your slip pocket side, exterior facing in, lining facing out. And here we go. We're just clipping away. Okay, so for these curves, I am going to use my stapler. It was easier to do it this way on my other one, so I'm going to do it again. I am going to put some little clips into my gusset here around the curve so it lays nice on this back piece when I put it in, and I'll show you what I mean. So just tiny little 1/8 inch snips, nothing big, but we're going to take it and we're going to staple pretty close to our raw edge. It's just going to really help when we go to sew this that nothing slips while we're sewing it. Okay, highly recommend the stapler for this part. Okay, so I don't know, it's hard to see, but I just stapled it all along this curve. It's really going to help for when we go to sew that on. So I'm going to do that to all 4 corners here. It'll just make our life easier. Okay. Beautiful. here we go. We're going to sew this at our full seam allowance all the way around. And then we will attach the fold over elastic and then we'll turn it out. So before I go on, I want to make sure I don't have any puckers. Nope, feels good. All right, I'm going to get my staple remover tool and I'm going to go through and remove all of these staples just like this, okay? Make sure you get all of these staples out because you don't want them making holes in your bag. And then we will do our fold over elastic. All right, here we go. I have my second piece. I cut this one at 26 inches long before I sewed it together, so I think this one might fit better. All right, I'm just going to start clipping this all the way on, and then we will sew this to our bag. Looks good on both sides. We caught it all. We are ready to turn this bag right side out. All right, so this one, it's all vinyl. It's a little difficult to turn right side out. I used a hair dryer on it last time. It worked amazing. So I'm gonna do that again. I'm gonna heat it up and then we'll turn it. Really does help. Oh my gosh, you guys. Get a hairdryer in your sewing room. It really does help. Oh my goodness, it looks good. Get all my curves pushed out. All right, you guys. All done. All I need to do is finish my crossbody strap. So I'll do that real quick. And then we will put this on. Oh my goodness. Look at that bag. Look at that bag. Such an awesome design. It's my second one and I love it just as much. I love it just as much. It'll kind of get its shape. You just got to kind of keep pinching the seams to get them to lay where they need to be. But, oh, you guys, she gorgeous. All right, let's finish our strap real quick and then we're done. So I did a video separate of this for the crossbody strap because people wanted me to show them how I edge coated. So there is a separate video before this video of me edge coating and assembling these connectors. Okay, so in one connector, you put your cut of webbing with a rectangle ring. And then on your other connector, you put your big strap of webbing connected straight to that. We do have one last piece here. We have our strap piece here. That is going to go over this side of the strap. So we're going to go ahead and sew that on. Make sure you got your webbing sealed with heat. Mine's pretty good. All right, so you're just pretty much going to encase that raw edge with this strap tab. I'm just going to make sure there's no flyaways on the back there. So I'm just going to put 2 little pieces of tape on each side. If you want to mark your center line on this, you totally can too. I'm just going to kind of fold it and slip that in. Should be pretty even. And press that down. Okay, easy, simple. Okay, so with the longer side here, what you're going to do is you are going to put on your slider first. Okay, up and over with that slider. And then with this end, you're gonna go through the rectangle ring here and pull that through. And then you just need to put this end up and over that slider again, but on the back side of it. So on the underneath, you wanna go farthest away first. You're gonna go up through that slider and then you're gonna come back down. Just like that. Now I'm going to sew these 2 pieces together. I don't need it as big though, right? About right there. And then when you sew those 2 pieces together, you're also sewing on this tab. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. You got a little bit to work with here. Make sure everything's kind of out of your way. All right, and then your crossbody strap is done. Now you don't have to do the connectors that she has in the pattern. You can do just a regular crossbody strap. Totally your call, but the connectors that she has in the pattern, 100% worth your time. They are absolutely gorgeous. So I highly recommend doing it. And I have that video, like I said, already posted of how I painted them. So, my thread on the back doesn't look so hot. I should have changed my thread to gray to match this, but too late now. It's fine. It's fine. All right. I like to just do 2 rows to stitch that down. And then our bag is complete. Yay! Love, love, love. There we go. Just gonna melt any little flyaway threads there. And it's done. You've got your crossbody strap. Done. Okay, we're all done. That is our bag completed. It is gorgeous. I'm so happy with the end result. I hope you guys love this tutorial. Let me know any comments, questions. I try and answer them and go over them. Please like and subscribe. If you haven't yet, I'd really appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, thanks for watching and go make yourself a new bag. All right, bye guys.